Welcome to the Granola Minimalist YouTube channel. I bring you along with me to camp out, enjoy nature, and record a podcast on sustainable living from the comfort of my tent somewhere in the woods. Where in the woods am I? Where will I be next? Hey guys, it's Chandra, the girl behind the Granola Minimalist. Thanks for tuning in to the second episode of the Where in the Woods series. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel to see where I will be next. And also, please check out my corresponding podcast that you can find on Anchor or Spotify at the Granola Minimalist Podcast, where I read to you topics I've written about on sustainable living and minimalism. Thanks for being here. So this is the route I originally planned to embark on for this West Coast extravaganza road trip. Unfortunately, due to the wildfires significantly impacting Oregon and California that erupted just before our trip, we had to reroute the last leg of our trip and head home the way that we came. This video is part 1 of 2 for the West Coast extravaganza road trip. Buckle up because I'll be taking you with me from the hot southern deserts I call home to the northern alpine mountaintops covered in evergreens. Unlike my last video, this trip I booked all 3 of my campsites off of HipCamp. HipCamp.com is basically the camping equivalent of Airbnb, where people can rent out camping sites on their private land. You simply search where you're trying to go. My first site is in Twin Falls, Idaho, so I type that in there and search for campsites in the area. All nearby and available listings pop up on one side and a map on the other side showing where the sites are at. I chose the country camping site here because it was a balance of the right price, location, and amenities. I've never used HipCamp before, so we will see how this goes. Since I'm going to be on the road for a week and a half or so and hanging out in 5 different states, I need to be prepared for weather as cold as 40 degrees Fahrenheit and as hot as 100 degrees. This is all the clothing and jackets I'm bringing for this trip. In hindsight, I could have done without a third of this stuff, but now I know for my next trip I'm comfortable packing lighter. My craftfully designed pack duffel bag is a space saver and also sustainably sourced and made. I remember receiving this bag in the mail and it was intentionally not wrapped in any plastic, including the tape. Anyways, it's got 2 main compartments that hold all of my clothes for this trip and zips together into a duffel bag. Yet again, my tiny but mighty Ford Fiesta. Last video I gave you guys a tour of my Fiesta and its specs, so check that out if you're interested. This trip my Fiesta is packed up for nomadic living for 2 people instead of 1 like last time. As you can see, it's almost packed to the brim, but if you look close enough, you can see a long-haired blonde man I packed along too. That's my boyfriend Jake, who you will see more of. I like to keep my trunk the kitchen area. Is that just me? It's just so easy to pop up the hatchback and have everything I need for hand washing and ultimate snackage. So this is the morning after camping in Twin Falls, Idaho. You wouldn't know it by this footage, but last night we got in after a 10-hour drive, way late and in bad weather. There were 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and raining and lightning. We wake up the next day and it's just beautiful. I guess the storm blew through. Idaho weather in this high desert is unforgiving. Our camp host gave us advice to put our tent on this side of our car to protect us from the weather, and it worked out perfectly. This site is on a farm with horses, goats, and sheep, and a sunflower and cornfield just up against it. Idaho is pretty flat, but every now and again you will drive by a breathtaking canyon like this one. We had to make a stop to check it out. It was such a treat to see a river running through a canyon like this. Oddly enough, there was a golf course at the bottom too. We ended up finding out the name of this beauty, and it is Shoshone Falls. That is a great view. Oh, the river is nice too. Finally, it was time to pack up, and we made our way on a 10-hour trek from Twin Falls, Idaho to Tacoma, Washington. This is basically what the whole drive through Idaho, eastern Washington, and eastern Oregon look like. Finally, we make it to this cute little yellow-doored Airbnb where we're staying with family in Tacoma. Everyone's heard of Seattle, right? Well, Tacoma is located just south of it, along this large body of water known as the Puget Sound. All of my family is from here, so I come back like once a year to visit. This trip brought up nostalgia from my childhood. Smells like damp, chill air mixed with rich soil and evergreens. There is nothing like it. Blackberry bushes like this one grow wildly here. Another blast in the past for me. This is only the second time Jake's been here in the almost 6 years we've been together. It's so special to me to have someone special to see where you came from. I moved here with my mom and 5 siblings to Las Vegas at 6.5 years old, where I later ended up falling in love with Jake at 19 years old. What a sweet serendipity. We later met up with family at the Point Defiance Beach. Nothing says Pacific Northwest beach than overgrowing ferns and trees hanging overhead, cliffside. I am such a plant lover that this place is a straight vegetation heaven. I made sure to appreciate these vibes and smells. Now, it's time to hike to the top of Mount Eleanor in the Olympic National Forest, located in Washington State, where I'm about to record a podcast on consumerism. Here in the Olympic National Forest, it is insanely green due to the heavy rainfall this region gets late fall through spring. We were lucky and caught it on a sunny, breezy day because we visited it early enough in the fall. At Mount Eleanor specifically, there was many warnings for aggressive mountain goats on this trail. Wild animals can become aggressive towards humans because of people feeding them food, intentionally or unintentionally. These mountain goats are in the process of being physically relocated to a different part of Washington because of this issue, so please do not feed wild animals. So finally we reached the peak of Mount Eleanor. As you can see, the valley below is full of smoke, but the view is still stunning. All that smoke is coming from the Oregon wildfires that ended up rerouting the way home on this trip, but I'll tell you more about that in the part 2 of this West Coast Extravaganza road trip. Alright, here we go. I've hiked to the top of this mountain. I have a scenic lake behind me, if you can spot it under the smoke. I'm recording 95% of this podcast on this mountaintop. I am infinitely inspired by nature, so that is why I've drove 20 hours to get here and hiked a 2,500 gain in elevation to this mountaintop to record this podcast on consumerism and how it makes us want more and more and more. Please click the link attached with this video to find the corresponding podcast on Anchor. You can find me at the Granola Minimalist Podcast and look for episode 2, Consumerism and the Insatiable Thirst for More in the Olympic National Forest. But that's it for this video. Jake and I say thanks for tuning in, guys. Please subscribe to see where in the woods I will be next. Take care.